do have a weak cold front coming in today, but unfortunately there won't be anything cold about it. Our temperatures will stay in the low 90s for today, 91, 92 degrees across our area. Overnight tonight, 66, 67 degrees. So we continue to stay cooler in the overnight hours. The dry air will be reinforced by that front, so at least we can keep the humidity down, which will make it a little more comfortable out there. It'll just be warm. For our records today, we're looking at 102 DFW in 79, 177 there in Waco, and we're not there. We're not normal, but we're not quite there. We're kind of in the middle of those. 84 degrees for the norm at DFW, 86 at Waco. Of course, it is October 1st, so we'll take a look at the month and see what this is going to look like for really the differential between now and the end of the month. So we'll take a look and see what we're looking forward to for Halloween. Normal high, again, 84 and 86. The normal low, 63, 62. So we're above normal for the lows as well. By the end of the month, we're in the low to mid 70s for our normal temperatures here, and then the normal lows, 51 degrees for that norm. Now, Texas doesn't often like to follow the script, but hopefully it does, because that'll mean a very comfortable Halloween. So we will see. And Halloween tends to be, at least right around the end of October, tends to be when we get that first real cool down. So if this year is like many years I remember, then we might be looking at our first big cool down later this month. We will have to wait for it though. Right now, it's quite warm. Here's the change in time. This is really interesting. We're losing about a couple of minutes every day in terms of our sunset rather, our length of our day. Sunrise, 7:22 a.m., right around that today. Tonight, sunset, right around 7:11. October 31st, Halloween, sunrise at 7:45 a.m., and that sun is gone just after 6:30. So by 7 o'clock, it will be plenty dark on Halloween for the trick-or-treating and all the decorations and those kind of things. So we are getting into a fall pattern, whether summer weather likes it or not. And this is a part of what will help us keep cooling down. This is part of what kind of forces the weather to cool down, whether the temperatures like it to happen or not. So our allergens today, not that great of news to talk about. Still kind of in the medium-high range. Ragweed is still there. So keep up the medications and those remedies. It's just fall. As I say all the time, it's just something we have to put up with. So keep doing those things that might be working for you. Looking at the tropics, not a whole lot of change here, which is generally a good thing. We have, let me go on the other side of the screen here. In the main development region, we still have an 80% chance of development in the next several days for this system just off the west coast of Africa. Really no change there yet, so we will keep watching that. Tropical Storm Kirk should become a hurricane fairly soon. Could become a major system. Now, I say Tropical Depression Joyce. That label should be off of there. I believe, well, actually, I think it may still be there. It's a little bit confusing because some of this stuff is starting to overlap, but it must be pointing to this little dot there that's going to go away, because Tropical Storm Kirk will become a hurricane, could become a major hurricane before it continues northward. But I think that little dot, that little white circle there, is really the remnants of Joyce. May not even really be a tropical depression anymore, but Joyce is out there just hanging around. But as for what really matters for our area, we still have this area of development in the Caribbean, and we're still at about a 40% chance. So we will watch that. We still have a chance of development somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. What you notice is that they're starting to kind of broaden this area here in the Gulf. So as far as where this thing could go, if it does develop into something, that is becoming less certain, but overall the chances of developing are generally slowly but surely going down. So we'll keep an eye on this, but for right now, nothing imminently to be concerned about. We have this front that is making its way through North Texas, that right there, and we will continue to see this sink down throughout the morning. It may actually be a little bit ahead of this. Sometimes these surface maps are a little behind the times here, but I believe we will see a pickup in winds once this comes through. So I'm thinking by the time we get to the afternoon, we'll probably notice that breeze from the north coming in. And when we look at the big picture of things, the remnants of Helene still hanging out on the eastern seaboard. Those are making their way out. Here's that front, the high pressure behind it. Here's the thing. We're not seeing the jet stream, and I wish I would have clicked that on and added this, but the jet stream is staying north of us. Okay, it's been staying north of us. And we need that jet stream to dip down if we're going to get any big changes in our weather, any big cool downs. I don't see that happening. I see one more front coming in early next week, but that's going to be a weaker front as well. No big changes coming yet. Models had their suggestions of things coming way out in the forecast, 14 plus days out, but that's not reliable, right? So for right now, we just kind of have to deal with the weather being relatively stagnant around here. We're getting these weaker fronts, but eventually, as we always do in the fall, we will see stronger fronts making their way. As I said, sometimes the latter half of October is when we usually see those. So we'll take a look at the forecast. Today, 91. We do have a weak front coming in that will pick up those winds. So at very least, that will improve the air quality around here. Unfortunately, those winds come back down the next couple of days. Could be looking at more pollution advisories, those air quality alerts and those kind of things. And then getting into the latter half of the week, we have a quick cool down here, just a slight one for the weekend, and then Monday's when we're looking at back in the 80s. So we'll get a little closer to normal there. Still going to be on the warm side of that, but it does look like early next week that we will take the edge off a little bit of those temperatures. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather. We'll keep watching for that. And over the next few days, just be prepared for warmer than normal temperatures, but we at least can keep the humidity out of here for a while. And then maybe, just maybe, as we get into next week, hopefully we'll get more signs of a bigger cool down coming from north central Texas.